The 2025 Formula One season has officially begun, and the excitement is through the roof. From Lewis Hamilton's much-awaited debut with Ferrari to nearly a quarter of the grid being rookies, there's plenty to talk about. But what's adding an extra layer of unpredictability? The weather forecast. With rain expected on Sunday, the first race of the season might just deliver a chaotic finish. Ferrari is one team that will have everyone's attention, not just because of Hamilton but also due to how well their car suits Albert Park's layout compared to Bahrain. The team faced many unanswered questions during the 3 days of preseason testing, but now they seem optimistic. The latest data suggests their SF25 has improved aerodynamic efficiency, something every team aims for. Early feedback from drivers has been positive, with no major surprises reported so far. The big question now is, can they make the most of this potential and start the season strong? One of the biggest talking points of the season opener is Lewis Hamilton's first race in Ferrari colors. His move sent shockwaves through the F1 world, making this debut one of the most anticipated moments in recent history. While Hamilton's transition to his new team has been smooth, he faces a tough challenge right from the start. His teammate is not only one of the best qualifiers on the grid, but also determined to prove he's Ferrari's next world champion. Despite the internal rivalry, all eyes will be on Hamilton, especially with the added challenge of a wet race. As a 7-time world champion, he has mastered tricky conditions before, and if the rain plays a role on Sunday, he could deliver a performance that reminds everyone why he's one of the greatest. Adding to Ferrari's confidence is the track itself. Albert Park's characteristics align better with their car compared to Bahrain, making them serious contenders for a strong result. However, Ferrari isn't the only team with big ambitions. This weekend, their fiercest rivals, McLaren, are entering the season as one of the strongest teams on the grid. Their impressive preseason testing in Bahrain has made them the early favorites, proving that their development curve remains among the best. But with such a strong car comes an internal challenge. Both of their drivers are highly competitive and eager to establish themselves as the team's main contender for the championship. For Oscar Piastri, this race is personal. Racing on home soil in Australia, he has the backing of a passionate crowd and a clear goal in mind: to prove he can fight for the title. One area he has worked hard to improve is his qualifying pace, which could be crucial, especially if the wet weather mixes things up. A strong performance here would send a clear message to his teammate Lando Norris that the fight for McLaren's top spot is wide open. While McLaren is considered a top contender, the characteristics of Albert Park might not entirely suit their MCL39, as seen during preseason testing. The front-limited nature of the circuit could pose a challenge, but their car is still expected to be one of the strongest on the grid. Defending their Constructors' Championship title remains the team's primary goal, and their campaign begins right here in Melbourne. However, with two aggressive drivers hungry for success, internal battles could add an extra layer of drama. Piastri recently extended his contract, ensuring his long-term future with the team. But that doesn't mean the competition between him and Norris will be any less intense. In fact, whoever delivers consistent performances from the very first race could gain an advantage as the season progresses. McLaren has learned from past mistakes, and balancing their driver dynamics will be key to avoiding unnecessary tensions that could hurt their championship aspirations. Meanwhile, Red Bull enters the Melbourne Grand Prix with more questions than answers. Their preseason testing left them uncertain about how their car will perform throughout the season. According to insiders, their chances of fighting for a victory in Australia are slim, as the team is still working on improving the car's stability, a key factor that could make or break their season. Max Verstappen, known for his confidence, has been unusually cautious in his predictions. He admitted that at this stage, only one team seems capable of dominating, and based on lap times, McLaren appears to have the upper hand. However, Verstappen has never needed the absolute fastest car to win races. Last season, he claimed the championship even when Red Bull finished third in the constructors' standings. While their current situation isn't ideal, Red Bull remains a team that can never be counted out, especially with a driver like Verstappen behind the wheel. Adding to the intrigue, recent reports suggest that Red Bull's situation might not be as bad as initially feared. Max Verstappen's father, Jos, has hinted at a more positive outlook, stating that the team has made progress since preseason testing. During the first day of testing, Verstappen was satisfied with the car, but after some setup changes, he felt less comfortable. However, after spending time in the simulator back in England, he returned with renewed confidence, raising hopes that Red Bull might be more competitive than expected in Melbourne. Despite this, the challenge remains daunting. Other teams, particularly McLaren and Ferrari, have made significant improvements, and Mercedes could also be a factor. For the first time in a while, the Brackley-based team has expressed confidence in their car's potential. If their positive feeling translates into strong on-track performance, Red Bull might find themselves battling on multiple fronts instead of comfortably leading the pack. Beyond the fight at the front, the Melbourne Grand Prix will also be a crucial moment for the rookies making their Formula One debuts. While some of them have had limited experience in past seasons, 6 drivers on the grid have yet to face the full challenge of an F1 campaign. A rainy race in Melbourne will only add to the pressure, testing their adaptability in difficult conditions. Among them, Andrea Kimi Antonelli faces one of the biggest challenges. Driving for Mercedes, he has massive expectations on his shoulders, stepping into one of the most competitive teams in the sport. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson is fighting to secure his place on the grid for the long term, knowing that every race could determine his future beyond 2025. The pressure is also mounting on other rookies like Isaac Hadjar and his teammate, both of whom need to prove they deserve their seats, especially with talented young drivers waiting in line for a chance to step in. The stakes are just as high for rookies like Zach O'Sullivan and Oliver Bearman, both of whom have been identified as future stars of the sport. A strong start in Australia could set the tone for their season, while a poor performance might invite speculation about whether more experienced drivers, who missed out on seats this year, could replace them. In Formula One, early impressions matter, and a difficult opening race can quickly turn into a season-long struggle. With unpredictable weather conditions expected on race day, these young drivers will need to adapt quickly. Rain can be a great equalizer, allowing less experienced drivers to shine or exposing weaknesses they still need to work on. For those looking to prove themselves, a chaotic race in Melbourne might be the perfect opportunity to make a statement. With so many storylines unfolding, the 2025 Formula One season is set to kick off with high stakes and plenty of drama. From Hamilton's much-anticipated debut in Ferrari colors to McLaren's rising dominance and Red Bull's uncertain form, Melbourne is shaping up to be a thrilling opener. Add to that the pressure on rookies looking to make a mark, and this race could set the tone for an unpredictable season ahead. One thing is certain: Albert Park will not disappoint. Whether it's a veteran proving their worth, a young talent announcing their arrival, or a team making a statement, the first race of the season always brings surprises. But as the lights go out in Melbourne, the real answers will finally emerge. On track, who do you think will take the first win of the season? Will Ferrari's new lineup live up to the hype? Can McLaren maintain their preseason form? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more updates on the biggest stories in F1.